Hey, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a full face of Colourpop. So I've owned plenty of Colourpop products in the past. Started off with a little bit of an eyeshadow obsession, went into lip products. I've tried just about everything there is from Colourpop. Well, after today I have anyway. So I really wanted to try like a full face of Colourpop. So everything that you see on my face today, minus the eyeliner, that's it. Everything else is Colourpop. So that's what we're doing. We're going to jump into this look. I'm super excited to share my thoughts with you all. I'm just going to give you a little spoiler alert. I'm very surprised with the outcome. So if you want to see what I used and how I came up with this look, please be sure to stick around. But if you're just now making it to my channel and you're not subscribed yet, maybe you've been lurking a little bit. If that's the case, tap the subscribe button, ring the notification bell so you don't miss future uploads. Let's get into this Colourpop look. I have been extremely ill over the past week, so I need to feel normal. I need to put something on my face, start to feel a little bit human again. Today is Mother's Day. My kids are still in bed, so I'm just kind of like, I just want to look and feel like me because I haven't felt like that in over a week. So that's what I'm doing today, or at least close to a week. We're going to kick this off with the No Filter Primer. This is something that I had to pick up because I didn't own a Colourpop primer. And when I looked on their website, I was looking for something that was mattifying. This is the one that I came across. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get this all over and see what I think about it. The only other primer I've ever tried from Colourpop was their All-Star. It came in like an orange bottle, and I just wasn't that impressed with it. I have very oily skin, just in case you're new here. Hello, I'm oily. So I'm going to take like an oil blotting sheet before I do anything, and I'm going to get some of the shine away. This is not dewy goodness, okay? It's oil. Plus my serum makes me a little shiny. We gonna be shiny enough here soon, regardless, so I don't need to add to that. I'm going to take a little healthy size here and get it going. Kind of reminds me of like a lotion going on. It doesn't feel silicone based or anything like that, which is good. I really don't care for the silicone based primers. I'm going to give that a minute to sink in, and we're going to start talking about the next product. Didn't take the shine away, so it says it's ideal for all skin types. We'll see about that. I'm extremely picky about primers because of my oily skin, so I typically go for the Smashbox Oil and Shine Control. We'll see how I like this one. We'll see how this one stacks up. All right, we're going to move it along to the Pretty Fresh foundation. I've owned several foundations from Colourpop in the past, like their No Filter Stick. Is that what it was called? The No Filter Stick foundation. I owned that one, and then I also owned their, I don't remember what it was called, but it was in a glass bottle. I think it was like the very first foundation they ever came out with. And I'll just be honest, so far I have not been very impressed with the Colourpop foundation formula. So I'm really hoping this one is a little bit different. I think this is supposed to be more of a hydrating foundation because it says it on the bottle. It says it's a hyaluronic hydrating foundation. Again, a little scary because I have oily skin, so we're just gonna see how it goes here. I did pick up a shade that was a little too dark for me. Like, initially looks like it might be okay, but when I apply, because I did a color match when I first got it, it's a little dark. So we're just gonna have to roll with it. I'll blend it down the neck. We'll pretend. Here goes nothing. I'm not going to do my typical Becca under eye corrector or anything like that. We're just going to do strictly Colourpop today. I don't think this is supposed to be full coverage. I feel like I should have read up on it. I feel like it's supposed to be like medium buildable. Sounds about right. Scoot a little bit closer here so you can actually see. Okay, yeah, it's not full coverage. The shade match is not too terrible, actually. The good thing about Colourpop is they do have a really decent shade range from what I could see. I really should have gotten y'all some facts before starting this video, but I'll be honest, I just wanted to get something on the face because of how crappy I've been feeling, so I'm not spitting facts today. We're just playing and seeing how things apply. I hope that's okay. I mean, right off the jump, it looks very skin-like. It doesn't look heavy at all, which is really nice. I like that. I'm trying not to over-apply it. It's covered up the redness a little bit. Okay. Yeah, it just looks really dewy. Dewy is how I would describe that. But not terrible. Yeah, not a bad shade match. I'm actually a little surprised. So what did y'all do for your mothers on Mother's Day? I've been stuck in the house. Feeling like trash. Which makes me sad. I wish I could go to my mom's today. It sucks. Yeah, I really like the way this is sitting on the skin. I just know it's not going to wear long. That's typically the one complaint that I have about most foundations, is that it's not going to wear long because I'm oily and wow, 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 right? It's just the nature of the beast when you have oily skin. There's really not much you can do about it, except for prep properly, powder, all that jazz. So I didn't exactly prep properly today because I used that primer, so we'll see how long this actually wears. But upon initial lay down, it looks really nice. Very, very lightweight. It's got decent coverage. But I mean, right off the bat, I feel like if you have dry skin, this is a really nice foundation for you. Just because it's got really good coverage and it's very, like, luminous and dewy looking and lightweight and doesn't look heavy at all, which is a plus if you have dry skin, even though I do not. Now, it's not going to cover up every single blemish. You can still see some of the redness, just a little bit, some of the discoloration right through my cheek area, which that's where most of it is. But wow, I'm a little impressed. And I'm impressed with how well this shade matches me. That might be the best shade match I've ever found for a foundation. Not perfect. I'm a little bit more olive, I think. Don't ask me. But not bad. So far that's what we got. Next up is going to be the Pretty Fresh Concealer. So we're keeping it with the same line here. Hyaluronic Creamy Concealer. I'm not going to worry about the spot concealing, except for maybe that little punk right there on my chin. But we're going to do the under eyes. Man, I missed the Becca under eye corrector. I really makes me want to grab it because that looks, ooh, like I haven't been sleeping right. Even though I haven't, I don't want it to look that way, you know? Okay, we'll start off there. Do one eye at a time. I don't like putting down concealer on both eyes and then blending because some stuff just sets way too quick. And I would rather do one eye at a time. Again, it's a very lightweight formula. It's a little drying. You know what I am going to do? I'm going to put Becca under this one, just see if there's a distinctive difference between both sides. This one's not bad. I can still see a little bit of purple through here, though, just because I've been, again, really sick over the past week and not getting a whole lot of sleep. Looking a little haggard, but I want to see if the Becca under eye corrector makes a difference, so be right back. Let's just see what happens here. I usually put it on before the foundation because it kind of leaves that demarcation line between the two, which I don't love. But I just want to see if it makes it look a little bit more skin-like and not so heavy if I apply this first. More moisturized, if you will. Yeah, if I had a dry skin type, I would totes wear this foundation, like by itself. I wouldn't even worry about powdering because it looks really nice. Alright, let's see how that applies over the Becca under eye corrector. This side over here just doesn't have quite enough coverage for me. Not with what I'm typically looking for. Did that help? It helped with it looking more moisturized. I have a lot more crepiness going on here. Oh yeah, can you see it? I can see it. I don't know if you can. It still doesn't look fantastic underneath my... Look, I got old eyes. Older eyes, I should say. So it's hard for me to find foundations that I really like underneath the eye area. I can see a lot more of the puffiness here. You can definitely tell the difference. More puffiness, more purple. This side's more smooth, more neutralized. Yeah, I would definitely keep using my Becca if I was going to continue to use this concealer under the eyes. We're going to leave it alone, though, just because I don't want to overdo it. Okay. I also picked up the Pretty Fresh pressed face powder. So Not a bad tone for my skin tone, I don't think. I'm going to set my face with that, and then we'll move on to getting some color back to the face. So I will say right off the top, it is pretty tacky. So if you're not into like the sticky tacky feel on your face when it comes to foundations, then you're probably not going to like this foundation. It's very fresh though, very dewy looking, very natural. It's not like overly luminous in my opinion. It just looks like skin. I'm kind of living for this foundation. This looks really, really nice. Now, as soon as I set it, it's obviously going to change the way this looks. I just wish that I could leave it alone. I wish that I didn't have to set, but y'all know I do, so I'm going to. I forgot that I need to conceal that little bastard. Anything else? Nothing else I'm too concerned with today. We're not going for perfection here. We're just playing around, trying to feel human, and feel a little bit more like myself today. That concealer just does not have enough coverage for what I typically like. I would call that more like a light to medium coverage concealer. I'm going to take my e.l.f. brush. I always use this for setting powder on my face. I love the way it picks up a lot of product, and I just kind of pack her on. Wow. Okay, so off the top, pretty powdery. I'm going to give her a good tap after that because that's a little scary. And this is an actual, like, pressed face powder, so there is some pigment to it. And they do have, I think they have quite a decent range on this as well, if I'm not mistaken. Setting powder can, like, make or break the way your foundation looks. It can make it look heavy and cakey. I'm really hoping it doesn't do that, because this looked really nice before I started putting powder on. But I gotta do something, because it's just tacky, and it doesn't feel right. I mean, it's a pretty intense powder, not gonna lie. It's got some coverage to it. I gotta be honest, though, that still looks really nice, right? Am I getting blown away by a Colourpop foundation and powder? It doesn't look heavy. It looks smooth. It's definitely got coverage to it. Wow, have I been sleeping on this? I'm always hesitant to try things that are luminous or natural or glowy. You know what I mean. I'm always hesitant to try stuff that is hydrating because of my skin type. But sometimes I'm blown away, and this looks really nice. There is still a little hint of luminosity, like under the surface. Again, once these oils start poking through, it'll be a lot more prominent. But right now, not too shabby. There's a lot of kick up when I tap into this pan. Like, it's not very hard pressed. I feel like I would go through this pretty quick. I don't know if y'all can see. Probably not. That's okay. It is a very soft powder, though. So far, I'm feeling it. So far. Okay, I need something to, like, get some color back and warm up the face, because we just looking a little too blanked out at the moment. Just a little bit. Under the eyes, I did not powder. I want to, but I don't think putting this under the eyes is the way to go. I feel like it's going to be really heavy if I do that, so I'm going to put just another random setting powder underneath the eyes, and then we'll move on to the bronzer that I picked up. Bronzers are very difficult for me. They're either too orange leaning, or the tone just never looks right, in my opinion. It's so hard to find a tone for me that I really love when it comes to bronzers. So I did pick up one. I already had one from Colourpop. It's pretty old, though. Never really got much use out of it because, again, it leaned very orange. This one's from their, what's the name of it? Their coconut, I can't remember the name of it. Going Coconuts palette. That's right. That's from that collection. This one's called Coconut Beach. And it looks fairly neutral, so I'm really hoping it pulls neutral. It's very powdery. But yeah, it looks very neutral. It honestly looks more like, a contour shade, which I'm not mad about. I can always add some more with a blush. So let's try and see what this looks like. Most of the stuff I've showed you so far, I've had to buy, like for this video. I wanted to have a full face of Colourpop. So the foundation, the concealer, I had the pretty fresh concealer before, but it expired and it smelled like straight up chemicals. So I threw that away a couple months ago because I didn't want to burn my under eyes. But I did pick up those. I picked up the powder for this video, the bronzer, the blush, quite a few things because I wanted a full face. And again, it was on sale. And I used a code, I believe, so I got even more off. So if you're going to buy Colourpop, buy it on sale. Don't buy full price. Just don't do it. You don't need to do it. Just get it on sale. They do have some really nice products, so anyhow. Okay, Coconut Beach. I'm going to tap very lightly because I can... Ooh! It is very powdery. So I'm just going to... Let me blow that off. Let me just show you if I barely tap into this. Like, I'm barely touching it and this stuff is floofing everywhere. I'm a little scared. I just don't want it to look muddy. That's what I'm concerned about right now, just because of how neutral it is. That's kind of the risk that you take when you get a more neutral-leaning bronzer. It can look a little bit muddy. We don't want to look like we rolled in mud. We want to look like we got kissed by the sun. Two different vibes, you know what I mean? I mean, not shabby. Colourpop, like, what are you doing? Are you blowing my mind today? I kind of stopped buying a lot of Colourpop back when they really changed their business model and they started pumping out more products than you could keep up with. That's pretty much when I really stopped purchasing from them. Like, I would buy something if it caught my eye, but I will no longer trying to keep up. It's just not possible. I feel like it's getting a little bit muddy through here, like patchy or something through here, which is weird. I'll take a smaller brush. See if I can't like buff it or something. That's a little bit better, I guess. Sometimes I go overboard. Sometimes. Most of the time. Like, wow. Okay. Okay, Colourpop. Like, dang, I really like the tone of that. What is happening in this video? I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. I feel like they've really stepped up their quality. I mean, again, I haven't really bought a whole lot from them over the past, I would say, like 2 years. Other than a random palette every now and again. That's pretty much it. So, I'm pleasantly surprised so far at the results. I feel like when I first started getting into Colourpop, it was popular, but not like it is now. Like it's just a different ball game. When I first got into it, they had lipsticks and stuff like that, but they've added so much more. They didn't have their skincare line, Fourth Ray. They didn't have a lot of stuff, and I feel like they've just exploded over the past several... Well, I don't feel like they have. They have exploded over the past several years. And when companies do that, I'm a little hesitant sometimes to trust the quality, because it's like, at that point, it's quantity over quality. Or at least that's how I look at it, and that's not a good perception to have, I guess, you know? That's one of the reasons why I really wanted to try these things out again, just because it's been such a long time since I've given Colourpop a fair fight in the game. So that's what we're doing. We're just kind of reevaluating my feelings on Colourpop, and they're impressing me a little bit, so that's exciting. I'm always happy when I get products that I was expecting to be less than impressed with, and then I'm really excited about them. It's always a good feeling. Especially when I'm spending my own money on them. And I like sharing that feedback with you all too. So if you're someone that has been a little bit gun-shy to purchase from Colourpop because of their rapid releases, you know, just know that not everything is poor quality, and I feel like some things are probably really hit and miss, but so far with this stuff, the stuff I've applied today, so far so good. I'm feeling it. I know I've said it 100 times already, but I'm loving it. Okay, what's next? So I am concerned, however, about the eye primer that I picked up today. Should I go into that yet? Should we do the eye primer first, or should we do the brows? I feel like I should probably put down the primer first, so that's what I'm going to do. I picked up the Party Proof eye primer. Now, first and foremost, when I went to take this out, I pulled the doe foot out, and there was no product on it, and I wasn't sure how that was possible when it was in the product. So I pushed it back in, and I squeezed it around the applicator. It just tells me how dry this product is. So I pulled it back out, and of course it was covered in product, but it's a very thick, like when you try to squeeze it out of the tube, it's a very thick consistency. And it's not my typical go-to when it comes to an eye primer. It's very silicone feeling. I'm a little concerned about that just because again, that's not what I gravitate towards with eye primers. It's a translucent eye primer, but there's like a little bit of a tint to it. Usually I like to cover all of the purple and the veins in my lids just because, you know, some people might not mind that, but I don't typically like letting it all hang out up there. So what I really like so far about this foundation is it's really not gathering into my fine lines and wrinkles, which is a small miracle. All right. Oh boy. Yeah, I don't like the way that feels at all. Guess fingers best for this one, huh? Oh, it feels like straight up silicone. I feel like I found the dud in this video so far. Which honestly is not too bad considering I'm several products in. It just feels a little tacky, and it's not a good tacky. It's kind of scaring me. Okay. So we'll see. We'll see when the eyeshadow portion comes, but I still need to do my brows. I only picked up the one blush, but again, I had a little collection of things before I purchased all of this stuff, so I'm going to share some of those with you really quickly. I have 3 of their Super Shock cheeks. This one is called Drop of a Hat, and it's a very shimmery kind of, almost looks more like a highlighter, but it's beautiful. Like, oh yeah, she pretty. Now I don't use these a whole lot. I don't know why. I just don't, so I need to get more use out of them. I've had them for quite a while. I actually just had to throw one away because of how long I've had them, and it was totally dried up. I have Stop It. I grabbed this one because, I mean, seriously, look how pretty. It's just this really bright, like orangey red, or reddy orange, however you want to say that, but how beautiful is that? Right up my alley. And then last of my Super Shock cheeks is, ooh, she's blushing. Kind of sounds like a Patrick Ta blush, huh? And this one's just very, it's a more of a bright pink. This one out here. Pinky red, reddy pink, whatever. Beautiful. So I'm not going to use those today. I'm going to use the one that I grabbed for this video because it's a little bit more toned down and subdued for the look I'm going for today. We're doing more of a neutral look, which I know is a little shocking here on my channel. I do a lot of color, but I like neutral too. So the blush I picked up is called Coast to Coast, and it's a really gorgeous, cool toned, like lilac-y, pinky slash purple, purpley pink. It's just very soft, and I want it to be kind of subtle, so that's what I'm doing. I typically wait to have an eye look down before I go into blush, but since I know I'm going to be doing a very neutral type of look, we're gonna go with it today. Again, this one is called Coast to Coast. I'm not really sure which collection this one's from. There's so many collections, so I'm not sure, but that's what I wanted to use today. I have used this one once before. I used it before I went into work one day, and I think it's really beautiful. Really pretty color. Very subtle. Yeah, just really pretty. Really nice. You know me though, I will always find a way to make it look extreme, if you want to put it that way. I just love my blush. I like having rosy cheeks. That's pretty. I like that. Little on the nose for good measure. See, I'm already starting to feel like myself. This was good. Whenever I'm feeling like complete dog shit, something I like to do is my makeup. Just because I usually do wear makeup on a daily basis, and I haven't done that in 5 days, something like that, so this is refreshing. Love it. Okay. Brows. I'm a little worried about the brow situation, so let me share with you what I picked up for the brows. I have several products in my arsenal. I picked up the Tinted Feather Effect Styling Wax, which is a very deep brown, and I'm really glad it's a deep brown, and I'm going to show you why. I also picked up the Precision Brow Pencil in the shade Bangin' Brunette. Now, this one's a little odd. Like when you go to twist up the top here, it's kind of hard to get it to work. And I don't know if I'd really call this a precision brow pencil because it's not that precise, but the color is very brown, like your typical brown. I'm just worried it's not going to be quite deep enough. The other thing that I'm not really sure about is the staying power, because when I do like that, it rubs right off. And I'm not even rubbing that hard. That concerns me. When I'm using my Huda Beauty brow pencil or any of the other ones I have, they're a little more waxy, so they don't wipe off so easily. This one is a little bit scary because it wipes off very easily. Anyhow, I have those two products, and then I also picked up their Feather Effect Brow Pen. Again, this one's in the shade medium brown. Probably should have bought the darker one, but I was afraid it would be black. So this one is, wow, that was hard to do. This one, again, is just a very typical like brown shade, and it's a little bit lighter than what I probably need. So we might have to try to save it with this wax. I don't typically use a brow wax. I don't know why I picked up this one. We're just trying some stuff here today. So, oh, and I also, this was included. This little brow spoolie, very kind of generic, very rough. It's pretty aggressive brow spoolie. So let's just see what happens here with my little sad eyebrows. Should I go into the wax first? I feel like I should. Let's do that. I don't know what the hell I'm doing because I don't ever use a brow wax, but that is what we gonna do. Oh, how are you supposed to dip it in here the way it's angled? Let's just do little by little, I guess. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Don't come for me. Or maybe I should have used the pencil first. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh boy. Oh, it's so thick. I do not like the consistency of this at all. It's just way too creamy for a brow pencil. That never bodes well. The coloring's not too bad though. I thought it was going to be a lot worse. I just don't care for the thickness of it. Yeah, I'm not a fan. Not a fan of the way that looks. So, that's a shame. That is a shame. You can almost see it. It just looks really, like, chunky throughout, right? It's not a good look. Okay, now let's try the pen. I don't know what to do. Let's attempt to put some hair strokes through there with this pen. Not too terrible, just a little bit too light though. I feel like I needed maybe like half a shade darker, but I don't remember seeing a lot of options for their brow pencil or brow pens. I feel like it was like 3 options. You had light, medium, and dark. I could be wrong, but that's all I remember seeing. I mean, it doesn't look terrible. It just looks a little chunky, right? I really wish I had like a brow gel or something to help fix that. This side definitely looks better than that side, but it still looks chunky. And I don't know how to fix it because I don't have a brow gel. I really don't want to cheat either. I'm going to try to not cheat and use something outside of Colourpop. Can I fix it with the wax? Probably not. You can't get the whole spoolie in it. It's very annoying. I'm just very nervous about this. I really don't want to use that brow pencil again because it's not good. I don't like that. I think that's my least favorite product so far is that brow pencil. I mean, the wax helped a little bit. Jeez Louise. Let me try to go back in with the pen. It's just too much work for what I typically like to do. I have a process, and this is jacking with that process. That looks a little bit better. It's just a little bit more warm toned than what I'm used to, and I think it's just kind of wigging me a little bit. Like, look at the difference, though, between the brows. This one's, like, semi-okay, right? And then this one's like, what the fuck? Like, what is happening? All right, I'm gonna hop off of here and try to repeat this on the other eye, make it look halfway similar. When I come back, we will start looking into the eyeshadow. Okay, might not be my typical brow. Like, it's not, they're not perfect, but they're not terrible either. I would say maybe like a 7 out of 10. I don't know what's going on up here. Like, it got a little bit, I don't know, a little bit weird up here. You see it? I've tried to fix it, but the brow pen's just not the right shade. It's a little bit too light for what I need, so it's not filling in the gaps like it's supposed to. And the brow pencil's a little bit chunky, so that's not working either. So this is what we're working with right now. I'm gonna leave it alone before it starts to get really wacky. All right, next up is eyeshadow. So I have probably 20 or more eyeshadow palettes from Colourpop. I've been collecting them over the course of the last 4 years or so, 5 years maybe. So I'm obviously not going to sit here and share all of those. That would be a little much for this video. Maybe I'll do like a ranking video in the future where I rank all my Colourpop palettes, but I do have quite a few. I pulled out just whatever was sitting on top just to share with you. Like the You Had Me at Hello, the Flutterby, Give It To Me Straight. These are all very like mauve-y, neutral color stories. And then the one that I picked up for you today to use is also quite mauve-y and neutral. So I don't know. I just kind of felt like going for a little bit of a neutral look. So I picked up Rock Candy, and that is what that looks like. Very cool toned, very neutral. So I'm excited to use it, build just a really simple eye look today. I'm a little nervous to put it over top of that primer just because, again, it's not the type of primer I would typically use. Before we jump into that, though, I did pull out several of the Super Shock shadows. Actually, the only Super Shock shadows I have left. The other ones got trashed. My biggest complaint about these is that they dry up pretty quickly. And when they do that, they're pretty much unusable. Well, no, they are unusable when they do that. This one's the shade Like a Moss. It was from their collaboration with Raw Beauty Kristi. Really beautiful shade. It's kind of a duochrome. It's pretty. I don't think I've ever put it on the eyes. So I have that, and I've got, you know, several others here. This one's called Sure Thing, and it's one of their ultra glitters. Just got a lot of little sparkles in there. They're okay, but when you compare these to my single shadows from like Terra Moons and Davina and Cleona and all those brands, they just kind of pale in comparison. So I don't really use these. This one's the shade Frog. This one's really pretty. If anything, I might use this one in conjunction with the palette today just because it's a super, like, glittery, neutral shade. So, might use that today. I don't know. And then the last one I have to show you here is called Erotic, and it's just a very pretty, like, bright, shimmery red. Anyhow, that's what we're doing. Let's play with the palette, see what I think of it. Not really sure what the hell I got on it already, but there's like some stuff on the front here. I really do like the texture of these. It's a really like smooth kind of texture, but it's got a little bit of, I don't know, almost looks like pebbles on the outside here. Rock Candy, I guess that's what they're going for. Not sure what colors I want to use today. I feel like, what should I do? What are you eating now, man? He's always got to get into literally everything. Now, when it comes to Colourpop shadows, I would say their quality is okay, but it's definitely not my favorite. So Colourpop isn't exactly like, okay, I'm not going to be, not throwing shade here, but they don't have exactly the best eyeshadow formula. It's not terrible. You can certainly create beautiful eye looks with their palettes, but I wouldn't say it's like top-notch eyeshadow formula. Sometimes there's a little bit of inconsistency between the formulas. Some of the palettes I have are really fantastic, other ones not so much, so that's just been my experience. I feel like it's gotten a lot better. I don't know, we'll have to see how this one plays out, but I'm kind of stuck on what kind of look I want to do. There are some warm tones in here, like this one's a little bit more warm toned. I kind of want to stay away from that. I want to keep it a lot more cool, maybe more of like a grayish mauve type of look, I guess. I'm gonna just start playing. Now, Colourpop has all sorts of things. They have brushes, they've got, I think I mentioned earlier, skincare, body care. Like, they have pretty much everything that you can think of. So there's a little bit of something for everybody on their website. Again, I question quality when they're pumping out so much all the time. It makes you wonder how much time are they spending on, you know, the process of building each product. You can see, like, up close and personal with the base makeup. I feel like that looks really, really nice. It's really smooth. There's no lines. Like, there's no product gathering in my lines. Not any more than normal. Like, this one's the worst deep set line I have. So that's just always going to be there. But overall, like, doesn't that look nice? I'm digging it. I don't like how it's got the shade names on the back of the palette. Any palettes that are created like that, I don't like that. I like to be able to see it. Oh, it is on the front. Well, why would they do it on both? I guess maybe if they get, I don't know. I don't know why they would have it on both. They've got it on the back and the front. Interesting. Okay. I don't like the pressed glitters in here. Pressed glitters scare the bejesus out of me, and we've got 3. This one, and this one. So those won't get used, but it's just 3 out of this fairly large size palette, so I'm okay with that. I'm gonna take, I guess, this gray shade here. Or should I do, see, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. Yeah, let's go into this gray shade here, and then we'll deepen it up with one of those mauve shades. Colourpop shadows are just very powdery, have a lot of kick up. Not always a terrible thing, but sometimes they kind of blend away. And I'm really interested to see how this works over top of their eye primer, because I've never tried it. So the shade that I'm using is called I Dig You. Hoping this doesn't turn out patchy. I mean, it's applying okay over top of this primer. It's not too shabby. I'm a little surprised. That's like the running theme of this video. Just being surprised at how everything's working. It's not bad. I'm glad I let it fully dry down, though. I feel like if I would have gone in right away, it would have not been good. At this point, it's totally smooth. And my eyelids are pretty matte, so that's good. So far, not too shabby. I mean, it's only one shade that I'm building up here, but it's building really nicely. In person, it doesn't look overly patchy or anything like that. I'm kind of curious to see how these shades layer, because that's typically the issue I have with Colourpop shadows. One shade is fine, and then you put the second shade on, especially when you're trying to build up and pack and build that depth. That's when it starts to get a little patchy, a little scary. Okay, now that I have that initial gray laid down, I want to go into something that's a little bit more mauve-y. I don't like the matte shadows with the sparkles in them. The sparkles just fluff away as soon as you start blending. And there are several shades like that in here. This one and this one. Is that the only 2? Yeah, it looks like those are the only 2 that have... I just wish they'd quit making those. Like all brands. Quit making the mattes with the sparkles in them. They ain't shit. Oh, and is this one down here? Yeah, and then there's a black one in the bottom here that's like that. To me, they're pointless. But who am I, right? Let's go into the shade Lava You. And that's that really pretty, like, pinky, cool toned pink. I'm not very good at, like, the simple looks. I want something a little bit more complex. Ooh. A little bit of depth, you know? I like that, though, so far. It's giving it a nice little, pink hue here. I'm going to try to keep this simple. I really don't want to go into too much detail here. I'm going to start packing that shade on that outer corner. So far, this is just a super simple look. I do want to add a little bit of something to it. Y'all know me, I need to. Probably some gray to the bottom here just to deepen it, give it some depth. I think what I want to do is take that deeper gray. This one's called So Tough, T-U-F-F. What about deepening up with that one? So I'm going to take that packer brush once more and dip into that gray. Ooh. Again, this is usually where I see issues with layering with Colourpop shadows. They do not like to layer. So in the pan, this looks really dark, but when you try to build it, it does not. I mean, that doesn't look terrible. I'm just kind of going back and forth with these colors because I want it to be smoky, but I also want it to have that kind of pinky undertone around it. So that's kind of what I'm doing, very gently. All the way around the outside. I kind of want to take that Super Shock shadow. So again, this one is called Frog. And it's just a really pretty, like, super glittery, shimmery Super Shock shadow. And I haven't used one of these in a very long time. I'm a little worried it's going to have, like, glitter all over my face. But I'm going to just take my finger here and start dabbing there. Wow, that's not bad. That's kind of pretty. I kind of want to put down a glitter glue. Let me do that. I'm just going to take a very little bit of the NYX glitter glue, or glitter primer, whatever you want to call it. And just kind of do one of these. Okay, let's try that. Wow, that makes a difference, doesn't it? You know I gotta have some pizzazz in these looks. Come on now. I can't just use these satins. I'm extra. You all know that. Now that doesn't look bad. That's actually really pretty. I don't mind that. Okay, I'm going to attempt to build back up some of that dark gray on the outer corner, and then we will be almost finished with the eye look. I like it. I think it's very pretty. In my opinion, my humble opinion. Right? Not shabby. What I'm going to do now is take some of those colors and smoke them out underneath the lower lash line, like I always do. And then I do have some other eye products to share with you before we do lips. And then we're about finished with this look. I am pleasantly surprised so far with how things are working out. I think this is a really pretty, simple look. Not much to it, but I really like it. And especially, you know, when you take into consideration Colourpop pricing and whatnot, I don't think we've done half bad today. So there's a few things left to do with this overall look. I need to do mascara, lips, and then we still have to do highlighter. But for the most part, I think this is just a really beautiful, smoky look. And I'm just blown away by the quality so far. And I'm just trying to be honest. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer, but I was not expecting this kind of reaction from these products. So let's go ahead and do the mascara. So I have two mascaras here. The first one is their BFF mascara. It is in the shade Brownie Points. It's just a brown mascara. Let me show you what the wand on that looks like. So fairly big wand. Kind of reminds me of the Better Than Sex wand from Too Faced. And then we have a new one that's called Act Natural Defining Mascara. And this one is just in the shade Black. And it's your typical, very generic looking wand. So the Brownie Points, the brown mascara, I've tried that before. It is a little bit older, so I'm a little nervous to use it. And we have a very smoky, sultry look going on, so we're going to go with the black. So the formula on this one is a little wet, and I like one that is kind of thick. Not extremely wet, just because I feel like it gets messy. But hey, I'm keeping an open mind. I'm excited to see what this does. I have very short lashes, so I need something that is going to volumize and lengthen. Well, that didn't do a whole lot for me. Now that side definitely looks better than the other side. I'm not really sure why that is. Yeah, it's like I ripped off half my lashes on this side. I'm not sure how that happened or what's going on, but yeah. Interesting. It's definitely not the worst mascara I've ever tried, but I wouldn't rank it up there with the top 5 or anything either. Okay, so that's what we got. I don't hate it. It's just not giving me the volume that I'm looking for. So again, that was the Act Natural mascara. So for the lower waterline, I was kind of thinking maybe doing like a gray liner. Actually, you know what? I don't think I have a pink from Colourpop. Let me take a look. I do have quite a few Colourpop eyeliners. I pulled out the white one. This one's called Exit, and it's just one of their twist up cream gel liners. I have quite a few of those, and I also have a bunch of their lip liners. They're pretty decent. I wouldn't say that they're super long wearing in the waterline, but I love the fact that there's so many different colors you can choose from, and I do want to pick one of those for this look. So for this look, I really don't want to go into anything too, like, I was going to go with the white, the one I just shared with you. I just feel like it's going to be too much, and I don't have another shade that would go with this look. I've got like purple and sea green, and then I have these here, but they're just too dark for what I'm looking for. I want something that's going to brighten up that lower waterline. So I'm actually going to pull something in from another brand. It's going to be the only thing that I do with that with. So I'm cheating just a little bit, but I don't know what else to do here. It's just going to tie the look together really nicely. So I'm doing it. See, look at the difference. It just ties it all together. This one's actually from House Laboratories, and it's called Open Wide. All right, two more things to do. Lips, highlighter. So for highlighter, I have the Innuendo, but the only shade in here that really matches my skin tone is like this one, and I just don't feel like that's what I want to go for this look. So I do have several of their Super Shock cheeks, the highlighters. This one's actually new. It's from their Winnie the Pooh collection, and this one's called Silly Old Bear. But this one is a gold, like a white gold, kind of. It's still kind of yellow toned. I don't think, no, that's not going to look right. So we can't do that one. I also have Parasol, which is like a peachy, pinky peachy type. I've got Flexitarian. This one's very icy. It's champagne and very icy. So, oh, this one here. That might work. I just feel like it's a little too icy. I also have Smoke and Whistles, and this one is like a pink. Ooh, that one might not be bad. Actually, is it gonna leave a cast? It kind of looks like it. So far, that's kind of the one I want to go with, Smoke and Whistles. Let's leave that one out. And then I also have Lunch Money. Lunch Money is another kind of a champagne shade. It's not quite what I'm looking for this look, though. Very icy. Yeah. Super Shock cheeks are very putty-like, very pliable in the pan. They're really beautiful, but they're also extremely icy. So, do I want to use Smoke and Whistles? Is that going to leave this weird cast on my skin? I mean, there's only one way to find out, right? So I'm going to take on my finger here and just very lightly. Ooh. I haven't used this in forever. Maybe a little much. It's just a little too icy for what I typically like, but it's a little late for it now, so we just gonna roll with it. Not terrible. It's just more than what I'm used to. Let's just put it that way. Last but not least is the lips. So I did pick up several newer products for this video, just for the sake of this video. I grabbed one of their, what is this called? Velvet Blur lipsticks. This is definitely not the right tone for this look. It's just a little bit too warm. Very beautiful formula. Super soft and silky. Just a really nice lipstick all the way around. I also grabbed this lip lacquer. Is it called Fresh Kiss? No, it's the Fresh Kiss lip lacquer. This one's in the shade Brandy. This might work. It's still a little warm, but I think it leans more cool than it does warm. Oh yeah. I think that might work. I wish it was a little bit cooler than that, though. They have a lot of different kinds of lip products on their website. They also have the Luxe Lip Oils. This I really like. It feels super comfortable on the lips. I've used it several times. It's just clear. but it's really just fresh and hydrating and just perfect if your lips are feeling dry, you want to moisturize a little bit. Very nice. I also grabbed one of their So Glassy lip glosses. This one is in the shade Epiphany. Not a huge fan of their lip glosses. They're real thick, sticky, kind of gloppy. It's just not... And it's got little glitters in it. It's this one here. I mean, super glassy looking and glossy, but it's just not my favorite type of formula. I bought their whole box of lippy pencils a long time ago. It came with like 30 or 40 of these. That many? It was a lot. It came with a lot. I can't remember how many. It came with a lot of those. And there's all different shades. Lots of neutrals. They've got like gray, blue, orange, red. You imagine it. They've got it in that set. So I'm going to find a lip liner to match. Still kind of on the fence about this. I do have other Colourpop lip products that I could use instead. Let me look at those really quickly before I settle on this. I just feel like it's a little too warm for this look. So when I first really got into Colourpop, the other thing besides their eyeshadows that I was really interested in was their lip products. I bought a bunch of their liquid lipsticks. I have some of their lippy sticks, their lippy pencils. Let me see if I have a shade of lippy pencil to match this lippy sticks. The one I decided on is Cami. And that's what you see on the lower lip. And I have a bunch of lippy pencils, so I know I'll have something that matches. And I do. This one is the shade Good and Plenty. And it's very, very similar to the shade on my lips. I like these because they're sharpenable. They're plastic and sharpenable. And they last forever. So, full face of Colourpop. Not too shabby, right? So I'm going to give you a really quick recap over my thoughts on everything that I used today. I have to be honest with you. I am pleasantly surprised over the base makeup. Like, very pleasantly surprised. The only thing is, it's starting to gather a little bit now, but you know what? Every foundation does that after a while. And I do see where it's getting a little oily on my brow, but I think that's the brow product, honestly. I feel like that primer did something. I'm not sure what, but I feel like it did something. I'm blown away. I just have to be honest with you. I think the foundation's beautiful. The primer's not too shabby. I don't think it's like a must-have product or anything, but the foundation, if I had to say out of the entire look, the one thing that I was most excited or blown away by, it would be the Pretty Fresh foundation. Like, are you kidding? It doesn't look overly matte. I powdered the shit out of it, so if it does, that's why. The powder set the foundation beautifully. Didn't make it look overly heavy. You all saw the application process, so I don't need to go into too much detail there, but I am living for the way this looks. I love it. I love the base products. The bronzer, perfect bronzer shade if you are my skin tone, around my skin tone. It's very, very neutral. It does not lean warm. In my opinion, just like the right amount, just barely the right amount. I love it. I think the blush is beautiful, very pretty, kind of understated cool tone pink. So beautiful. The concealer, I'm not the biggest fan of. I just feel like it's a little bit drying. You can definitely tell which, in my opinion, which under eye looks better. This is the one with the Becca under eye corrector. This is without. This one, you can still see a portion of purple here. It's a little bit crepier. This one's more smooth. You can't see as much darkness underneath this one. You can tell the difference of which one I use an extra product with. But regardless, it just doesn't have the coverage that I'm looking for. Not my favorite concealer. The brow products I could also pass on. I just don't think... I don't like the formula of this. I feel like if I touch my brow one good time, half of that brow is going to come right back off, which is not a good look, especially when I'm at work. So, probably not going to utilize this brow pencil anymore. The brow pen, kind of the same concept. It's not amazing in my opinion. I don't really like the fact that it's too like on par with like a traditional brown. I wish that it was more of a brow color brown, if that makes any kind of sense at all. It's just not fantastic. And the tip on it, like, it gives a good hair stroke, but it almost felt like it was drying out a little bit after a few uses. So Not my favorite on that. The brow wax, I'm just really not one to use a brow wax. Again, don't know what the hell I was doing there. I just wanted to try something new. It's not terrible. Like, if you have a lot of brow, this would be a good product for you. If you have thin, sparse, scraggly looking brows like I do, then this probably isn't the proper brow product for you. I really need to have like a brow gel with fibers in it to kind of get the whole thing going. I don't hate the way the brows look. They just don't look... They're just not up to par with what I typically like. They look a little bit greasy, right? And it's the pencil. It's definitely the brow pencil. I don't like that. In terms of the eye primer, I am pleasantly surprised at how well this primer worked. It's not the traditional primer that I like to use. I like to use something like P. Louise or even the Anastasia primer. I like my NARS eyeshadow base is amazing. This one's just got a really weird consistency to it, and I thought that it was going to jack the eye look up because it's transparent. I don't know about y'all, but I mean, I'm feeling myself. I like the eye look, and I feel like it worked really well over top of this primer. The mascara, I could, you know what I mean? Like, it's not fantastic. It's also definitely not the worst mascara I've ever used. It looks okay. I could certainly get more use out of it. It's just not like a top 5 mascara. I think that's the bulk of it. I think you all know how I feel. Oh, Colourpop also does lashes. If you all have been here for a while, you barely have very, very rarely ever seen me wear lashes. Probably not in a couple years. It's just a pain in my rear end. I wear contacts. They already get irritated with eyeshadow on them. So I'm not going to put lashes on, but this is a pair that I do have. They fell on the floor. I'm just not going to go through the trouble to put lashes on. I'd rather just throw on some mascara because most people just wear mascara. The Rock Candy palette I think is really beautiful. It's simple and easy to come up with a look. I really enjoy this look that I came up with. It wasn't hard to do. It didn't take that much effort. The most effort that I put into it was choosing which colors to use. So, I mean, if you're interested in this palette and you've been eyeballing it, I don't think you'll be disappointed with the quality. I feel like everything worked really well together. So, yeah, the lips, obviously I've had those 2 lip products for a while, so I love the Colourpop lippy pencils. They're just so convenient, especially with how many shades they have and how affordable they are, especially when you buy them on sale. So that is going to wrap up this video. Again, I am blown away at the final outcome of a full face of Colourpop. I hope you all enjoyed watching this video, coming along this little journey with me, because I'm very pleasantly surprised. Like I've said a million times. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Not only does that let me know that you enjoy this kind of content, but it also lets YouTube know. So when you all do that, it will push this video out there for more people to find, which means more people might make their way over to this amazing community, and I am so grateful when you all take the time to do that. If you've made it this far and you're not subscribed yet, shameful, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Ring the notification bell while you're at it so you don't miss future uploads, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Bye. Nice. Let's break shit.